Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, where we are focused on creating good in the world by growing your business. And today we are going to continue the conversation we've been having on community. Today, we are going to take that conversation a little bit deeper into one specific benefit of community, and that is accountability. Last week, we talked about how to find a community, and now we're going to talk about how to use that community that you've just found. We already know from episode 123 that accountability is key in business, and the community that we can be a part of as entrepreneurs can help offer that accountability. But let's look at the why and the how of it. I'm Dr. Moore, a college psych professor, homeschooling mom, and entrepreneur, and I've spent the past 10 years learning how to balance everything. Here on the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, I'll share the ins and outs of maintaining a growth mindset and saying hello to grit, that thing that will get you to your long-term vision despite challenges and busy schedules. After all, you got into business to do more good in the world, right? So let's get started. Willpower. Have you ever walked through the kitchen and grabbed a snack even though you weren't hungry? As a kid, we would go on vacation to the beach every summer. It was amazing. I got to have the sugary cereals that I didn't get to have during the year. We got to watch cable TV, which was really cool because I grew up in the country and cable TV wasn't available to us. It just didn't get out to our house. And most importantly, we had vacation M&Ms. We always bought a bag of M&Ms. I say we, I mean my parents did. My parents always bought a bag of M&Ms, and as soon as the car was unloaded, we would grab a bowl out of the cabinet and dump the M&Ms into them. That bowl full of M&Ms sat on the kitchen counter all week. When we would walk by, we'd grab a few. It didn't matter if you were hungry or not. It was just you were in the kitchen, you walked by the bowl of vacation M&Ms and you grabbed a few. They were there and they were out. So you just got some. Looking back on that as an adult, a few things strike me. First, how cool were my parents that we had vacation M&Ms? I mean, it was a thing. It was so awesome. Second, the bowl never ran out before the end of the week. We always had enough to get us through that last morning when we were loading up the car. And I don't think it was willpower that kept us from binging on them at the very beginning of the week. I think it was probably the accountability that, none of us wanted to run out before the end of the week. So we were all accountable to one another to make sure that there were still M&Ms on the morning that we left the beach. So by staying accountable, we knew we could take a few every time we walked by, but not a lot every time, because otherwise someone was going to say, "Did you eat the last M&M? Are you the reason that we don't have any and it's only Wednesday?" Yeah, we didn't want to be that person. Willpower is something that a lot of times we rely on. In fact, we rely on it too often, and all too often it fails us when push comes to shove. We need accountability. Dr. Benjamin Hardy says that if you're serious about the changes you want to make, willpower won't be enough. Quite the opposite. Willpower is what's holding you back. Willpower is a broken approach to thriving and success. So what he means is that if you're relying on willpower, then you don't quite know what you want. You haven't fully decided on a course of action. This means that you are waffling. And guess what happens as a result of waffling? Not much. You aren't likely to meet your goals. This is why you need accountability. See, as a family, we had decided that the M&Ms would last the whole way until the morning when we were loading up the car to go home from the beach. We made that decision. And when we made that decision, we made it happen. We all knew that the M&Ms needed to last through the week. And we all did our part to make sure that happened. So we need accountability. Accountability in a community like we are building in the Entrepreneurs and Flow membership has 5 key benefits that I want to walk you through today. Because as you are getting involved in a community as an entrepreneur, I want you to be aware of how accountability can help, how important it is, what it does, how it functions. And first up being that When you are in an entrepreneurial community, it helps create accountability through shared goals and values. When you are surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who are all working on similar objectives, whether it's to finish a course, a membership, a coaching program, it's easier to hold each other accountable. You're all on the same path. You can support each other by discussing the challenges, by sharing advice, and keeping each other on track to achieve your goals. So when you have shared goals and values in a community, the accountability piece kind of naturally develops. Another benefit of being in an entrepreneurial community is that there's positive peer pressure. And I really do mean positive. It's the good kind of peer pressure. When you see your fellow community members making progress and achieving their goals, maybe they've launched a new membership, they finished up their first course, they signed a new client, it can motivate you to stay committed to your own business, those pieces of your business that maybe you've been putting off. This kind of positive peer pressure can push you to work harder and smarter, stay focused, and start to avoid that procrastination. It really also helps you remember to avoid the perfection, right? We don't need perfection in our business. In fact, perfection is often going to create procrastination. Nobody wants to be the person in the group who's falling behind or not meeting their targets or not working toward their goals. It doesn't feel good to be there. So in this sense, accountability in a community allows you to have a little bit of peer pressure saying, hey, what did you work on? Hey, I worked on this. It's a good feeling to be able to share what you did. And along those lines, entrepreneurial communities often do have structured systems for regular check-ins. Maybe it's a mastermind group, a co-working call, a debrief call, a weekly call of some kind. Maybe it's a progress report. These check-ins provide an opportunity for members to share their accomplishments, to share the challenges, and to share their goals for the upcoming period. When you are regularly reporting on your progress, you are creating a sense of responsibility to yourself and to the community to stay accountable, and you're consistently working toward your objectives. We have several types of these check-ins in Entrepreneurs in Flow. We have weekly co-working sessions where you get to say what you're going to work on, and at the end of that hour, you say what you got done. We have monthly planning where we get to set those goals for the month. We have laser coaching sessions where we talk through the challenges. We have celebrate and debrief sessions, and we have success calls. During these calls that we're talking with other entrepreneurs, what's happening is everyone has a chance to share what they're working on and then report back on how they are progressing. It's a regular check-in. Now, even the most determined entrepreneurs are going to face setbacks and challenges, right? I don't know about you, but I certainly face setbacks and challenges in my own business. Being part of a community means that you have a built-in support system when you're struggling. You can lean on your fellow community members for advice, for encouragement, for guidance to help you overcome those obstacles and to get back on track. Knowing that you have people who really care about your success, care about who you are, what you're doing as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a human being, the fact that they're there to help can make it easier to stay accountable to your goals. So while they're not necessarily in this moment saying, what are you going to do? And please report back. It's the sense of support that you have that allows you to stay accountable to your goals. We do this in those live calls we've talked about, but we also in Entrepreneurs in Flow do it in our off-social community conversations. So we always have that opportunity to share and to get support. Now, I promised you 5 different ways. Here's the 5th one. If you've been keeping track, the first one was that we need community that has shared goals and values. That's going to boost accountability. We need peer pressure, the positive kind. We need regular check-ins, and we need a support system for when we struggle. The last one is to really make sure that we're celebrating success together. Being in an entrepreneurial community means that you have people to celebrate your successes with. As you're achieving your milestones, as you're finishing actions, as you're reaching your goals, it's important to acknowledge and celebrate that. Celebrate it. Sharing your successes with your community reinforces your accountability, but it also provides motivation for the whole group. When people see you succeed, they want to succeed as well, which means they are going to be even more accountable to themselves, to the group, to their business. Just like you experience success, you become even more accountable. And by celebrating together, what happens is you create a really beautiful environment. It's a positive, inspiring atmosphere that ends up propelling everyone forward. And you've always heard a rising tide lifts all ships. The same is true here. We do this on our monthly celebration calls. You get to reflect on and share your wins. And by doing that, it's not bragging. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we feel like, oh, it wasn't big enough, or, oh gosh, I shouldn't be saying this. It sounds like it's bragging. No, when you share your wins, what you're doing is inspiring other people. You are inspiring yourself as well to maintain your momentum. So please take an opportunity to celebrate those successes. Now, if you've been following the Entrepreneur Mindset podcast for a while, you know that this is about the time when we usually say, your action item for the week is, and this is part of accountability. I want you to do things. I don't want you to just listen to this podcast and say, oh, cool, that was great information, and move on. I want you to say, oh, great, I really need to implement something right now about this because I need to be more accountable. I'm done relying on willpower. I'm actually ready to make a decision about what I want for my business and then go after it. So this week, our action item is to start incorporating accountability into your business. Now, what you choose to do to make that happen is going to depend on where you are in your business and what foundations you already have in place. So I'll run through 5 different options for you. I know that's a lot, but I want to give you some choices. And then I'll give you a super simple option at the end. So hang tight. If you go, oh, what if I need all of these? I've got a solution for you. Okay, first up, identify an accountability partner or group of like-minded entrepreneurs who can help you stay on track. If you already have that, great. You can listen to number 2. But if you don't, I want you to reach out to your existing network, maybe even attend some local business events or join some online forums and social media groups so that you can start connecting with other entrepreneurs. You're looking for individuals who share similar goals, values, and ambitions. And we talked about finding a community of entrepreneurs in episode 124. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and check it out because I kind of detail for you the process of finding a group that you can be a part of. Okay. So if you already have an accountability partner or group and they're really genuinely interested in supporting and holding you and everyone else accountable, great. I want you to think about option number 2 for the week. And that is to set clear, specific goals. Once you have an accountability group, you need to set really good goals. You need to make sure that your actions, your milestones are smart, that they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This is going to help you create a really clear path for your progress. It makes it easier for your accountability partners to help keep track as well. So you're simplifying the process, and quite honestly, you are making your business easier because now you have an exact set of things to do. You can do them, get them done, check them off. Okay. If you already have an accountability partner or group and you have clear and specific goals, let's talk about option 3 for the week, and that is to establish regular check-ins. This could be a weekly phone call. It could be video conference like Zoom. It could be an in-person meeting. It really depends on who you're working with, who your accountability group or partner is, what your preferences are. But the key is during these check-ins, you want to talk about your progress, talk about the challenges and your upcoming goals. And this is where it gets tricky because as entrepreneurs, we want to put on a brave front sometimes that things are good, they're going well. But it's during these regular check-ins that you want to be really honest and transparent about your struggles because that's where you can actually get some help. Okay. If you hide those struggles and those challenges, then you're not going to get anywhere. So if you don't feel comfortable sharing your challenges and your struggles in these check-ins, chances are you don't have the right accountability group or partner just yet. So you might need to go back to the drawing board and start searching again. You also want to not just share your struggles and challenges, but also be prepared to celebrate those wins, those achievements together. This kind of consistent communication, these regular check-ins, creates a rhythm of accountability and support, and that's really what we're looking for here. If you already have regular check-ins, then how about option 4? Develop a system for tracking your progress toward your goals. It might be a simple spreadsheet. If you're an Excel person, kind of like I am, I love spreadsheets. It might be a project management tool. It could be a physical notebook that you write in. The key is to update your progress regularly and to share it with your accountability partner or group. Having a visual representation, something that isn't just living in your brain, makes it easier to stay focused and motivated. So one of the things I do is I always write down on a piece of paper or on my whiteboard the things that I need to be working on, and I prioritize them. And then I can check off if they're in progress, if they're done, or if I'm stuck and I need some additional resources. So I keep track of all of that. Makes it really easy to check in and figure out where I'm at in my process. Okay, if you already have a tracking system in place, great. Let's look at option number 5. And that is to be open to receiving feedback and support from your accountability partner or group. Really embrace their insights, their suggestions, and their encouragement. You know, they're here to help you succeed and to stay accountable to your goals. And it feels uncomfortable sometimes to get feedback that says, hey, that really wasn't, maybe the best thought out email, or maybe this is why that's happening and maybe you need to adjust this or that. It feels tough because as an entrepreneur, what we put out there, it's our baby. It's personal. It is something that came from within us, from a deep place of conviction, oftentimes, and to have it criticized or to receive feedback on it that suggests it is not perfect can feel a little scary. But again, remember, they're there to help you succeed and to stay accountable to your goals. And in turn, you have to give all of this back to them. You need to offer support and feedback to them as well, so that what you are creating is not a one-sided relay of information. It is a mutually beneficial relationship. So I want you to choose one of these 5 actions, or if you are feeling ambitious and you want to pick up more than one of those, you can do that for sure. But by taking these steps this week, what you're doing is you are saying, my business is important enough to establish powerful accountability for my business. You are making a decision that your goals are important. You're not relying on willpower. Willpower, remember, suggests that you haven't made the decision or the commitment yet. So when you start relying on accountability, you have said, I'm here, I am an entrepreneur, I am a business owner, and this is going to work. I am going to commit myself to the actions I need to take. It helps you, having this kind of accountability helps you to stay focused and motivated. It also encourages you to really work consistently toward your goals. And that consistency is what ultimately leads to greater success in your entrepreneurial journey. Now, I did promise you a super simple approach to making all of this happen. Entrepreneurs in Flow is opening to founding members on April 26th. If you'd like the easy button option, this is it. So if you want all 5 of these things kind of already in place for you, you want to hit the equivalent of the easy button. Do you remember when Staples had the easy button? I've taken care of putting all of these measures in place so that you can simply implement them as an Entrepreneurs in Flow member. If you want to check it out, I'd like to invite you to go to www.entrepreneursinflow.co/join. Again, that's www.entrepreneursinflow.co, not .com, .co/join. So there you have it. We talked about a lot of things today. We talked about 5 key ways that being in an entrepreneurial community can help create accountability and support so that you can get things done. Plus, we talked about 5 things you can do this week to build accountability into your business. Remember, Willpower alone is not going to be enough to sustain your progress and to achieve your goals. Go ahead right now, today, and make the decision to embrace the power of community to create accountability and success, and ultimately to become a thriving entrepreneur. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today on the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. If you found value in any of the things that we talked about today, I'd love if you would grab a screenshot of this and share it to your IG stories or your Facebook stories. Share it with a fellow entrepreneur. Maybe it's a quick text to someone or an email, and then leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. All of these things help immensely as we continue to grow the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. And I will see you all back here next week for another episode of the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, where a focus on mentoring, community, and implementation removes the overwhelm of building your successful and profitable business and adds in a dose of momentum. Until next time, have a healthy, safe, and happy week.